Yo. There we go. Mic check. Should be on. Okay. So, welcome back to my NHL and USHL podcast. First of all, I want to say that I'm uploading YouTube shorts and TikToks of clips from the podcast. I already have 3 YouTube shorts and 3 TikToks. My TikTok page is called The Intermission. I'm gonna change it to The Intermission Podcast, but it doesn't let me yet. I think it is The Intermission Podcast. So let me check. You can check my YouTube shorts on this TikTok page. Not this YouTube page that you're listening to this to. You're on. And yeah, it's just called the Intermission. I think that's what you. Okay, hold up. I already have 600 views on one of them. Let me see what you have to search up. Intermission Podcast. Okay, you can just search up the Intermission Podcast on TikTok, and you can watch my clips on there. You can just go look at the shorts that are also on this page and watch them there. I'm doing that from now on. So if there's any clips, like any upsets, I already have 3 clips on both of them. If there's any clips for me doing something, any upset pics, me saying something happening, anything like that I feel like should be up on the TikTok, I will upload it there and you can see it there. I need to change this title real quick because I do not need to else. Okay. So today we'll be grading every NHL team's first line. So we are going to do that. NHL line combinations. We're just gonna go in order. There's not gonna be any tier list today. Should I do a tier list? Ooh, actually. Nah, the title's grading them. I'll just grade them. I just kind of look over them, talk about them a little bit, and then grade them. You guys know how grade works. A+, A minus, B+, B minus, C+, C minus, D+, D minus, and F. They're all the grades. I'm not going to give no F pluses, no F minuses, none like that. But I will be giving D+, D minus, and D, for example, for every other grade. You'll kind of understand. If you don't understand it now, you will understand it if you do it throughout the podcast. You guys should understand it though. Welcome to the one chatter. So we're going to do that. Let's jump straight into clearly we're going with the Ducks because they're first in alphabetical order. So let's do it. The Ducks have Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, George Terry. This line does have a question mark. Cutter Gauthier has not played a single NHL game yet. I mean, he might have, but he has not played very much games if he has played a game. So no NHL experience. I think this line will be pretty good. But we also have to think about it. We're comparing it to other first lines. So if we're comparing this to a fourth line, it would be an A. If we're comparing this to other first lines, it's different. And which we kind of are if you think about it, because this one is, for example, one could be a C and the other one could be A. Because the one that's A is just that much better than the one that's rated C. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna give this one a C+ because Cutter Gauthier I think is gonna actually be really good. I think Carlson's gonna take a step up. And Troy Terry, so I think Troy Terry's gonna be good. So I'm gonna give it a C+ right now. I'm actually gonna write this down in my notes on my phone. Okay. So grading each NHL team's first line. I will also be doing the same type of video for second lines, third lines, fourth lines, and for defensive pairings. So, yeah. Anaheim, I gave them a C+. Okay, so Boston will be up next. Okay. So I'll give them a C+ right now, but they will be good. They could get a higher grade next season. Okay, so their first line is projected. These are all projected lines. It's not guaranteed line. These are projected lines that I trust this site. Pavel Zacha, Elias Lindholm, and David Pastrnak. Very good. Pastrnak's one of the best wingers in the league. Elias Lindholm is a great center that, especially if he plays with somebody like Pastrnak, he can give you 70 points, probably. 60, 70 points. And Zacha is a good winger. A good two-way winger. So, I think I'm going to give it about a B. A B right now. I do think it's very good, but we will see much better lines coming up. So that's where they're gonna go. I have them at a B right now, and I have these all down in my notes as well. I might delete this note after, but I kind of want to keep track of them so I can kind of compare them as we go. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this one's good too. Peterka, he hasn't played much. He has played an NHL season. He's not incredibly experienced. Tage Thompson is honestly, he's able to put up 40 and 40 goals, 40 assists. It's on a good year for him. And then Alex Tuch is a very good winger. So I'm going to give this, if Boston was a B, I think I'm going to give this a B minus. Tage Thompson's a bit of a question mark. Yes, I've seen Tage Thompson do phenomenal, but also last season he had a bit of a down season. So it's also kind of tough. Tuch is a two-way forward, but he's not like no David Pastrnak offensively. And then J.J. Peterka is also kind of questionable because he's only played basically like one season, so I don't know how he's gonna do. So I think I'm gonna give him a B minus, but I do really like the line. I'm not gonna lie. Next is Calgary. This player's gonna be really bad. I'm not gonna lie. So let's go over to Calgary. Huberdeau, Backlund, Coleman. Compared to others, I'm giving this a D. Huberdeau's been really bad the past couple years. Mikael Backlund can get you 15 to 20 goals. And then Coleman can get you 20 to 25, 15 to 25 goals. Really depends on the season. And when he's playing with Backlund and Huberdeau, he's probably going to get you around 15 to 20 goals. So I got to give him a D. I don't think I'm going to quite give him an F. I might change these throughout the podcast episode. I could change it down to an F if I really feel like it. But right now, I think I'm going to give him a D just to be safe. Next is Carolina. And if I take a second, because I'm writing down their initials, their abbreviation in my notes. Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis. It's very good because these are one of the most established lines, so we know they're going to be pretty good. Aho can get you 80 to 90 points. Svechnikov, if he stays healthy, can get you around 70 to 80 points, probably maybe even 90 in a good season. And Jarvis will get you about 60 to 75 points-ish, that range. Probably a little under a point per game, maybe around that point per game mark, probably for Jarvis. So I'm thinking I'm gonna give this line a B plus because we all know that they can do good. But I don't think I'm gonna quite give them an A minus quite yet. I think Chicago is next. Yes. This first line, I know for sure probably will change throughout the season because they're probably gonna test who's gonna play as Bedard. But if this is exactly how it's gonna be for Tuesday, Bedard, Teravainen, I actually think it's gonna be pretty good. Bedard put up a little under a point per game last season. He's gonna get much better this season. He's a hard-working top sixer. Very hard-working. He's big. He's pretty physical, and he can get in the dirty areas. And then Tuukka Teravainen is very skilled, two-way forward that can produce offensively. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna give him around a B, B minus. I think around same that I give Buffalo. I will give him a B, but I think just slightly a downgrade from the Boston's one, just because Boston's Lindholm and Pastrnak. And then Zacha's good too. Zacha does remind me a lot of Teravainen. Not saying they're the same player, but they do remind me a lot of each other. Let me check chat. Make sure there's no chat yet. Nope, not yet. Okay. Okay, but that's what I think of the Blackhawks. I have them at a B minus in my grading right now. Next is Colorado. This is probably going to be an A minus. Because then McKinnon and Ransom are on the same line. And then okay. So Durant had a few rough years, and then he played with McKinnon. They were phenomenal in the juniors, and he had a huge resurgence last season. And McKinnon and Rantanen could put up 100 points, and then McKinnon could put up 110 to 130 points. So I think I'm going to give this line an A. Not quite an A plus, but I'm going to give it an A. Actually, nope, I think I'm going to give it an A minus. I don't know. I think I might change it. I'm going to keep it at A right now because it is very, very, very good. Actually, no, I'm going to give it A minus. I keep kind of switching in my head, but I think I'm going to give it an A- and stick with that. I think CBJ is next up, yeah. The worst we got is Anaheim at C+ right now. It's the worst grade that so far. Actually, no, Calgary's D. That's the worst. That makes sense. I kind of explained it during when I was going over Calgary's first line. Okay, so Johnny Gaudreau was phenomenal in Calgary. Then he kind of had a down year for the past couple years. He can probably get you around 60 to 75 points as of late. But if he's really, really producing, he gets you 90 points. But it really depends on the season. Monahan is very good two-way forward. He can give you about 70 to 80 points. Probably about 60 to 70-ish points, probably around that range. I'm playing good defensively. Marchenko can get you around 50 to 65 points, probably. I would say, not assume, but I would say. So it's a pretty good line. I'll give it about probably a C+. No, I'm gonna give it a B-. I do like this. I think it's about the same as Buffalo's. But it could go down, honestly, but I do actually like this line. So next is Dallas. Dallas Stars is consistently been having phenomenal star power. But then Robertson can get you around 80 to 100 points depending on the season. Hintz can get you about 80 to 90 points. Sagan could get you about 70 to 80 points. So I think I'm going to give this a B+. The same as Carolina. No, I'm going to give it an A-. They proved themselves time and time again, this line. I really have. So, they prove themselves time and time again. They consistently be good in the regular season and playoffs, and that does add quite a decent amount of points to you. So, yeah, I'm going to give them an A-. Next up is Detroit. Detroit Red Wings, their top six, as you already know, is phenomenal. They're definitely the biggest strong point for sure. The Brinkett, Larkin, and Raymond is phenomenal. The Brinkett and Larkin started out the season as the best duo in the league. They definitely cooled off throughout the season as the season went on, but they really proved how good they work together and how good the chemistry is. And then Raymond's a very, very good player. The Brinkett can get you 70 to 80 points. Same thing as Larkin, and he's very good two-way forward. Raymond can get you also about 70 to 80 points on a good season. So I am going to give them an A-, I think, as well. It's gonna be really tough to get an A+. I mean, you have to be like the Lightning's first line, if you know what I'm saying. Those kind of lines. I think actually I'm gonna give them an A. Because you can get an A+, which is even better. So I think I'm gonna give them an A. They're really, really stacked, first line wise. Edmonton Oilers, I believe, is up next. If I remember my alphabet. I do so much stuff on this podcast in alphabetical order. So, RNA, Connor McDavid, Jack Hyman. Yes, A+. A+ for Edmonton. Connor McDavid is the best player in the world. Can get you about 110 to 140 points. RNA can put up 100 points before, and when he's on that number one power play and playing with this line, it's possible he does put up 100 points, but I'm saying around 80 to 90 points probably is what he's going to end up putting up. And then Hyman can get you 30 to 40 goals with 75 to 85 points around that range for Zach Hyman. So I have to give him an A+. And they all play in that power play. It does also help them with chemistry. I guess you could say that was about every first line, but yeah, that's where they're gonna have to rank right now. Florida. This one's interesting. Not really interested. I don't know why I said that. But Hagee, Barkov, Reinhardt. But Barkov is the best two-way forward in the league. He can get you 80 to 90 points while playing the best defense that any forward in the league. Reinhardt can get you 30 to 40 goals probably on a normal year. With like 70 to 80 points. 70 to 85 points probably for Hagee can get you probably about 25 to probably about 30 to 35 goals with about 70 to 80 points. Also playing good defensively. So the whole line plays good defensively, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. So I think I'm gonna give them an A-. Same as Dallas and Colorado. I think that's pretty fair. They don't have the offensive production as Colorado's, but they kind of make up for it with some of the defense, and then they're so phenomenally offensively, especially together because they won the cup together last season. So it kind of that proves something, right? The Kings, I believe, is up next. Yep, LA Kings. LA Kings. Byfield, Kopitar, Kempe. Kopitar one of the best two-way forwards in the league. Kempe consistently puts up 70 to 80 points. Kopitar can put up 60 to 70 points, playing some of the best defense that a forward can give you in this league. And then Quentin Byfield has had not phenomenally offensive abuse in the last couple of years. It's because he's very, very, very young. But now I think he's going to have a huge outburst this next season. So I'm going to give that line, I think, just a B. Because I don't think I can really give it more than Boston because it has improved himself. But I'll give the same as Boston. Actually, I think I'm going to raise Boston to a B+. I'm thinking about it because it is really, really good, not going to lie. So B+ for Boston, just B for LA. Next is Minnesota. Let's go to the Minnesota Wild line combinations. And by the way, with that YouTube Shorts thing, it doesn't mean I'm gonna upload clips every podcast episode. It just means if it's clips that I think are worthy, I think I'll probably upload them. Kirill Kaprizov, and Marco Rossi and Magic Gurello. Kaprizov can get you 80 to 100 points depending on the season. Marco Rossi can get you about 60 to 70. Playing great defense, and Zuccarello is very good as well. So Minnesota, I'm going to give them a B-, I think. Very good line, but compared to others, it's definitely not good compared to others. Montreal Canadiens, it's Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky. Very, very good line. So I think I'm going to give them around a B- because they haven't really proved themselves much. I think I'm gonna give them a B actually, but maybe if they prove themselves next season, I can raise that. Raise it up a little bit. Nashville, I think these guys are gonna get at least a B+, just because of how good they were last year. O'Reilly, Forsberg, and Nyquist. I think I'm gonna give them a B+. Very, very solid first line. Very, very good first lines among the best, I think. New Jersey Devils is next up. Plot, Keisha, and Brad. Just purely off the first line, it's not really like that incredible. So I think I'm gonna give him like a B. I think I'm gonna give him a B, probably a B- actually. Purely on the first line, it's not all that impressive, but it also helps the fact that those are on the first line. So we got Jackie and Timo Meyer on the second line, and then the depth, it's absurd. But yeah. Okay, so the Islanders are up next. I think the Islanders actually have a very good first line. Duclair, Horvat, and Barzal. So I think I'm going to give them a B- as well. Duclair is a very, very good acquisition for the Islanders on the first line. And then Horvat and Barzal played together last season, so they have some chemistry. Duclair added in, that might take a little bit for them to get chemistry, but we'll have to wait to see how they play together. Rangers are up next. Kreider, Zibanejad, Smith. That's a pretty good first line. I'll give it a B. Kreider's definitely a strong point. Zibanejad and Smith. So I think I'm giving them a B right now. Ottawa. Okay, let me add the next couple teams so I don't have to keep doing it. Philly, Pittsburgh. After that, I think San Jose Sharks, Seattle, and St. Louis. Okay, that's good for now. Okay, so the Senators are up next. The Chuck, Stutzel, and Giroux. I think Stutzel is going to get probably 80 to 90 points next season. Chuck's probably going to get 70 to 80 points, and Giroux's probably going to get 60 to 70 points. So I think I'm going to give them a solid B. They could get a higher grade, but I think it's going to be a B for them right now. Philly, Forster, Couture, Konechny. Konechny definitely a huge strong point for that line. So I think I'm going to give them a C+, honestly. I don't think they're any better than the Ducks, so C+, I think. For them, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's up next. How long has the podcast episode been so far? About 20 minutes, okay. Are you excited for next season? Yes, I am excited for next season. I am interested to see how this all plays out. Thank you for chatting. So this one's next up. Drew O'Connor, Sidney Crosby and Brian Moss. I don't think it's like some of the best. Like I don't think it's among the best. I think I know actually Crosby's a huge part of this line. He can get you 30 to 50 goals depending on how good he plays that season. Rust and O'Connor are pretty questionable wingers to play around Sidney Crosby, so I think I'm gonna give them probably a B minus just purely because Sidney Crosby's on that line. If it wasn't for Sidney Crosby, it'd probably be like a C or a C minus. I'm not gonna lie, but Crosby carries it up to a B minus because of how good Sidney Crosby is. San Jose Sharks, this might be probably one of the worst. First line between them and Calgary. I think they're the two worst teams in the league, so it kind of makes sense. Celebrini, Toffoli, and Zetterlund. It's actually not a bad first line. Celebrini, I think, is going to get probably around anywhere from 60 to 75 points-ish, probably. And then Toffoli probably going to put up 60, 70 points, and Zetterlund's probably going to put up around the same, just because he's playing with T2 players. I think it's going to be around a B minus. Probably like a C plus. I don't think it's any better than Philadelphia's or Anaheim's. I really don't. Seattle's up next. The Kraken. Beniers is good. McCann and Eberle. I do like that line. I think I'm gonna give them about a B minus too. It's either that or a C plus for me. I'm checking any more chatters. Okay, not yet. Okay. So next St. Louis. Let me add the next few teams as well. Tampa Bay. Then it's gonna be Toronto. Toronto. I'm adding down my notes on my phone. Utah Hockey Club. Vancouver. Vegas Golden Knights. Washington. And Winnipeg. Okay, so next up is the St. Louis Blues. And I'm a Hawk fan. And in case you didn't know that, but I will not use any bias against them. Thomas, Neighbors, and Kyrie. That's actually a very, very good first line for them. So I think I'm gonna give it a B plus. I think if Kyrie and Thomas are two phenomenal players, and Neighbors is as well. Honestly, I really like that first line, and their forward core is actually really good. Tampa Bay, I already know what they're gonna get. They're gonna get an A plus. I'm not gonna lie to you. A plus. Gunsel, Point, and Kucherov. Yeah. A plus. I don't think there's very much argument to that. I mean, you could try to make an argument if you really wanted to, but I think it's pretty fair. Kucherov just put up 140 points last season. I think he can get to probably around 110 to 120 points probably in a normal season. Point can get you around 90 to 100 points, and Gunsel can get you about 90 to 100 points as well. So I think I gotta give him an A plus, and they're not bad defensively too. Toronto, I don't even gotta look at the first line, but I will just for the podcast, so you guys can get a visual representation in case you don't know what it is. It's Nyes, Matthews, and Marner. So I think I'm gonna give them an A minus. The only reason why I don't give them an A or an A plus because it's Nyes. It's kind of questionable. He can probably get you around 70 to 80 points. Knowing the fact he's playing with Matthews, he's probably gonna get around 80 to 85 points probably. Matthews can get 60 to 65 goals, with about probably 100 points-ish. And then Marner can get 100 points, so it's like 25 goals and 75 assists, so. I'm gonna give him an A minus for, the first line. Utah Hockey Club's up next. I don't know their first line off the top of my head. It's Schmaltz, Hayton, and Keller. That's a good first line. I think that I'm going to give it a B. Just a B. I really like Keller. He can get about 70 to 85 points. Hayton can give you around 60 to 70 points. And Schmaltz can get you about 70 to 80 points. So I think I'm going to give him a B, and I think that's pretty fair. Vancouver Canucks. Hoglander, Miller, and Besser. I do like it. Besser can get you 30 to 40 goals. Same thing with Miller. And Hoglander is very good. He's very good last season. He proved to me that he's very good. So I'm going to give them a B as well. Vancouver. Vegas is up next. We're reaching the end. There's only 3 teams left. Eichel, Barbashev, Olofsson. Kind of questionable because you don't really know how they play together, but I think I'm going to give them a B-. Eichel is a very, very, very good player, probably the best player on the team. Olofsson and Barbashev, I don't know how they're going to do with Eichel because they haven't really played together. 2 teams remaining. Capitals are one of them. It's the Capitals. Dylan Strome, Tom Wilson, Ovechkin, not among the best. I think I'm going to give them a C+, I'm not going to lie. But I don't think they're as good as Vegas or Seattle, or Pittsburgh. I mean, maybe Pittsburgh, but still. Winnipeg, they would be better than Pittsburgh if it wasn't for Crosby. But anyways, the Winnipeg Jets, Kyle Connor, Scheifele, Velarde. Connor, if he stays healthy, he's very, very good. Same thing, Scheifele, and then Velarde is very good as well. So I think I'm gonna give them a B-. So yeah. And that's gonna do it for today's episode. We're gonna go over the tier list. Do you like that Arizona moved? I don't really mind it. I think it's pretty good for the NHL. Because they kind of were forced to. Because I googled this the one time. Why? It was because, from what I remember, it's because the owner, I think it was the old owner, maybe the new one, but I think it's the old owner kind of put them in a lot of debt. So I think they kind of had to. I think it's good. I think Utah has been waiting for a hockey team for a while, so I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go over all of them. We're gonna go over all of my teams that I've graded. Anaheim, I gave a C+. Boston, I gave a B+. Buffalo, I gave a B-. Calgary, I gave them a D. I believe that they were the worst. Then Carolina's B+. Chicago's B-. Colorado was an A-. CDJ was a B-. Dallas Stars were A-. Detroit Red Wings were A. Edmonton Oilers were A+. Florida was an A-. Los Angeles Kings were B. Minnesota Wild were a B-. Montreal was a B. Nashville was a B+. New Jersey Devils was a B-. New York Islanders is a B-. New York Rangers and Ottawa Senators were a B. Philadelphia Flyers were a C+. Pittsburgh Penguins were a B-. San Jose Sharks were the C+. Seattle was a B-. St. Louis was a B+. Tampa Bay was a B+. Toronto was a A-. Utah Hockey Club, Vancouver, and Vegas Golden Knights. Utah Hockey Club and just Vancouver, just them two were B. Vegas was a B-. Washington was a C+, and Winnipeg was a B-. And you're welcome, by the way, for answering. So, that's going to be it for today's podcast episode. I will upload some clips. I'll probably upload the clips of the Oilers and the Lightning because they're the only 2 A+. And then I probably will upload a clip of the Calgary one because they were the worst. I think that's pretty fair. That's pretty good if I can upload. So, yeah, I'm going to do that after this podcast episode. I'm going to end this podcast episode right now. I will see you guys tomorrow when I grade every NHL team's second line for episode 15 of season 3. We're almost season 4. So,